Yeah.
Let me see why my phone didn't rotate so it goes sideways. Why did not my phone?
Yeah.
All right,
Sometimes
does
they
it go
don't, and I don't
sideways
know why.
now? All
Yay,
right,
there
ladies
we
and
go.
gentlemen, we are back. I am finishing off my fucking spaghetti and meatballs, man. It's almost gone, but man, what these big fucking meatballs, man, and the
The big
mashed potatoes
Italian
were fucking
meatball.
yeah.
It's a spicy
Any
meatball. I finally got to use that term. It's a spicy meatball. I
Sammy
finally
says
got
that
to
he
use
wants to have a good show today. He says he wants to really like lay down the smackdown. So it's hey, so once in a while, so you got to grab a troll by the neck and just grab by the scruff of the neck and just smack him
Right,
around.
right, right. Well,
And tell us a little bit about your YouTube situation, Vaughn. So Lin
yeah,
May can stop fucking bitching and complaining.
yeah. Isn't it interesting? I'm on a brand new computer with a brand new ISP, brand new IP address, brand new MAC address, and I log on to YouTube, and YouTube instantly recognized my happy ass, which they should not have been able to do. They should not have been able to recognize me at all, but yet they did. So what does that tell you, boys and girls? That tells you something is rotten in Denmark somewhere, because they shouldn't have recognized me at all. I'm on all brand new shit, but yet they recognized me and asked me if I wanted to appeal my ban, of which I said yes, of course I'm going to appeal my ban. I was discriminated against. I'm an evil
Correct.
Trump supporter. I'm an evil Trump supporter, and so I'm evil, and because I'm a Trump supporter, and well, that's discrimination. You're not supposed to discriminate because of one's political views, which they clearly did. And now, obviously, I have not heard back from my appeal, nor will I, because they know they banned me illegally, but they don't care. YouTube doesn't give a shit.
They don't give two shakes of a fucking
Yeah,
lamb's
they
tail,
don't give a
man.
shit. So.
They don't give two shakes of a fucking lamb's tail about you being banned, man. They are trash bags, man. They are
But
trash
yeah, what
bags.
about that though? I mean, I've got a new ISP, a new IP address, a new MAC address, and they still recognize my ass. Something's
So
wrong. Hi, Brittany.
Lin May has to. Yeah, you know what? I think you deserve it. Lin May told you to get a new email. You did. Get a new
Yep.
YouTube channel. You did.
Yep.
I think you did your part. So Lin May, get on your knees, pucker up, and give Vaughn what he deserves. I think that's what I think. I really think you. I think Vaughn deserves.
Yeah, because he told me to try, and I did my level best, and unfortunately, I mean, as soon as I landed on the damn website, boom! It's like, do you want to appeal your babe? I'm like, what? How the fuck did they recognize me? But they did. So, oh well, that's the way it
Sammy, if
goes.
that's you, give me the finger. Give me the finger.
But yeah, man, that was nuts. That was crazy. I no sooner logged on to YouTube than bam, they
All
nailed
right,
me.
I don't see no fingers, so I'm not gonna let you on. It might be a troll pretending to be.
Yeah, troll pretended to be Sammy. Right, it could be. Yeah, exactly. I don't hear anything.
All right.
Now I hear something.
There we go, Sammy.
Okay, it is him.
I think Sammy lost his ever loving mind.
Well, yeah, when you got missiles raining down on your head, it kind of changes you, You kind of be a changed man, Things that you look at things differently when you got missiles dropping down on your head. You look at things differently.
Oh yeah,
But at least I would. I would, that's for sure. You're like, holy shit, I got missiles flying at me. Yeah, I would think differently.
It kind of destroys all of your governors or like inhibitions or like all of your self censorship. Basically because getting so close to death so many times and being under threat, it's like I'm going to speak my mind, even if you assume that I'm trying to deceive you and I'm being deceptive. I tell you everything. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I tell you everything. What I'm honestly and directly.
You do wear your heart on your sleeve. You're like me, and that and Vaughn's the same way too. And all three of us that got bit us in the ass doing that.
Yep.
Well, again, your life is under threat constantly, and I've had missiles fall in my neighborhood during this last war and the war before that, the second Lebanon war, and I've been close to death enough times to basically not give a shit. I have no governors. I have no inhibitions. And I'll tell you straightforward exactly what I think, and revealing and exposing the full truth. I was listening to Owen Schroyer on the War Room on Infowars, and he's going on his a rant on his soapbox about Israel losing support in America and BB having deceived America, getting America or the American public to fight Israel's wars. Again, I'm kind of getting sick and tired of Jones and Schroyer. They're being misleading, and they used to tell the full truth, the whole truth, and now they are very biased and misleading. Okay, it's not the full picture.
I just
Okay,
think people are sick of fucking Israel's shit. I think that's just what it comes down to. I don't.
No, you gotta listen to my point of view on it, because I've lived there and I know what I'm talking about. When Israel's interests align with America's interests, America goes to war in the Middle East. America does not go to war in the Middle East for the Jews or for Israel. The reasons America went to war in Iraq, aside from Bibi's meddling and aside from his speech making and the American public or the Jews of America or the Christian Zionists believe that America is fighting a holy war for the Holy Land and for the Jews and for Jesus. It was purely for the petrodollar.
It was for Rothschild specifically.
No, it was for the extension and extenuation of the petrodollar dominance and the dollar dominance via oil and the petrodollar. It was more of a war for Kuwait and Saudi Arabia, and for the establishment, and for the deep state, and for the ruling elites. It was the rich man's war, yes. For the what is that? What do you got there? Okay, yeah. But who? It's more proper to say for the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. What is that? You got to check.
That's money. The troll outside says no money, Von Helden. Well, there's some money right there. So once again, the trolls lie, and people die. The YouTube trolls are scum. They all need to go to prison.
Let me get out my soapbox. You guys waited for me a few minutes.
We waited.
You waited for the
go for it,
superstar.
Lay it all out.
The Ayatollah of rock and roller. Okay, so let me provide my little response rant to Owen Schroyer. All right.
So my parents are dead, troll. You dumb fuck. You dumb motherfucker. What? My parents are dead because of you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers are the reason my parents are dead. There is no question about that. That's not up for debate, fucker. You trolls are responsible for the death of my parents. That is not up for debate. My mother would be alive today if it wasn't for you fucking trolls meddling in my personal affairs. That's a fact. It's not my opinion. That's a fucking fact. Anyway, go ahead, Sammy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, okay. So Schroyer is, visibly upset at what Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro are doing in America, trying to garner support and argue for American direct military coalitions and cooperations with Israel's plans to strike Iran. And by the way, IAEA made announcements yesterday and today that the Iranians have enriched. They've enriched their uranium, and they've not made any sort of attempts to cover that up. There are a few steps of enriching to weapons grade uranium, and this is the IAEA. So,
John, you're not muted.
Hey, John, can you mute?
John, you need to mute. He can't hear
Is he
me.
shopping? Shopping? He's grocery
I guess
shopping
he's
or something?
shopping or something. I'm hearing all kinds of people talking.
Anyway.
Lots of people talking, fewer than you
Anyway, so
know.
Schroyer is understandably upset, but he will not tell you the whole truth, and Alex Jones won't tell you the whole truth. And you also like to harp on the Rothschilds, but again, I told you the petrodollar agreement that galvanized the dollar as the world reserve currency in
Yeah, I
the
know,
late
but the
60s
petrodollar is run by the globalists.
it is the handiwork of the Rockefeller family more than it is the
Well,
Rothschild family.
the global elite, you know.
No, it was direct hand. The direct hand of Rockefeller. David
Yeah,
Rockefeller was Secretary of State during the Ford administration, and before that, it was Kissinger. All
yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh
People
God, I
had a
hate Kissinger. Don't get
plan.
me
They
started on
wanted
Kissinger.
to restore and preserve the dollar as the world's reserve currency, and they did that via Nixon and Ford and Carter and what you said, Trilateral Commission, Council on Foreign Relations. That is purely the hand of Rockefeller. Now
Yeah,
they
yeah,
work together hand in hand with one another. The Rothschilds are the British Empire's bankers. The British.
yeah. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers are like this.
All right, so it's the financial establishment
Yeah,
from
the
way back
financial
when.
establishment.
All right,
Right,
so
right.
let's make that clear. America went to war in the Middle East to protect its financial interests. And Owen Schroyer and Alex Jones, both of you, I like you a lot. I support you a lot. I've supported you from the beginning. But you really are getting under my skin by not being direct and truthful, because Alex Jones' family comes from an oil-rich Texas tycoon family. They
Yeah, of
have
course,
oil wealth on the land.
of
Okay,
course.
so you
Yeah. Speaking of Alex Jones, because this is important. Alex Jones was sitting there whining and crying about fucking Sandy Hook. Okay, but see, here's the thing. If Alex Jones had contacted me and I had walked into that courtroom, I would have fucking owned them motherfuckers because
Vaughn, really,
because
I
because
appreciate it, but you know that it's irrelevant to the my train of thought. You're breaking my train of thought.
okay,
All
well,
right, listen,
continue your
so
train of thought, and I'll speak
Texas
up
is
then.
oil rich. Texas is a Freemasonic state. It's one of the
Correct.
oldest of the Freemasonic
And the
states. It's pure
Freemasons are aligned with Lucifer. They say so
all
out
right,
of
so
their own
it's,
mouth.
I mean, whatever you want to say, Texas is a Christian Zionist. I love the people of Texas. When I was there, I was even, weighing moving to Texas. I was in Arizona, but I realized I'm more, in the same mindset as an American with Texas than I am with even New York. A lot of New
Yeah.
Yorkers have moved down to Texas. A lot of Jews from New York have moved to Texas, to Austin, and to
Mhm.
Dallas, and I met them. They're happier in Texas than they are in New York. And I have nothing against Texas, and I have nothing against the fact that it's a Freemasonic state. But just be honest. Stop being so shisty. Stop being
Right.
so half truth,
No, I don't take
deceptive.
half truths. I'm
Tell the
forbidden.
whole
I'm
truth.
forbidden.
I put all my cards on the table. I hide nothing. I'm not doing
Yeah.
any. I'm not pulling any poker face on you. I'm
I'm
not pulling any
forbidden. I'm
poker
forbidden.
faces on us.
I'm prohibited.
Not in revealing what they're really all about and who they
Thank you.
really are. All right, you've got
I'm
an
prohibited.
investment in the Freemasons. You've got an investment in the petrodollar. You've got an investment as the world in maintaining the world reserve currency. You don't want to let that go. But that is being diminished now, and you're going to lose that grip soon. Okay, that's why Donald Trump is supporting central bank digital currencies. He's changed his mind all of a sudden, and you have no gold reserves.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Without a paddle, and you want to blame the Jews now and Israel for
Well,
being the bad
okay,
guys.
let me-
Okay, so wait, so I'm the bad guy now. So
No,
I'm
no, no.
Scarface. I'm the bad.
Not
Look
you.
at say hello to the bad man. Say
Not
hello
you.
to the bad man.
Not you. Not you. Not you. Okay. See, this is the point. I have no problem with the average Jew walking the earth. I have some disagreements as to their origin, but whatever. But I don't hate them. But here's the thing, okay? When Rothschild holds on to the liens of all of Donald Trump's fucking property, and Rothschild goes to Trump and he says, "You play ball with me, or I cash in all your fucking liens." and you become broke overnight.
Vaughn, that's horseshit. Donald Trump and his father Fred have always been pro-Jewish.
Well, they have, but I mean, though, the thing of it is that, you know, it's still, they're still to the point to where they do what Rothschild says to do. Period. They do. They just do.
You don't know who freaking Trump is. Trump has been pro-Jewish from his childhood. He grew up with Jews. His father's been pro-Jewish.
His father's a Jew. He's a Jew.
Of New York Jews. His daughter married a Jew because she loved him.
He's a Jew.
It's not some fucking arrangement that the Rothschilds made. You really are fucking delusional.
That's not what I said.
It's a globe.
That's not what I said, Sam. That's not what I said. You're not listening. You're not listening. You're talking. You're not listening. Rothschild holds the liens on Donald Trump's casinos and other properties. That is a fact. That's not
show me the evidence. Look it up and show it to me on screen.
I don't see why I should, but yeah, I will. I will show you.
Show me the evidence.
All right. What are we yelling about Jews again?
Say hello to the bad man.
Sam thinks that people that talk about Zionism or
no. I'm not putting them down. I'm not pigeonholing them, but I'm saying they're being untruthful. You know who's more Kaiser or something or other. That guy, the four eyes. No, the Four Eyes on InfoWars. He's more honest about the whole picture. He's more intellectual.
At the end of the day, I think a lot of people have something what we call Jew fatigue.
Just like black fatigue.
Well, like black fatigue. I think people are sick of fucking garbage and a lot of the shit. And you know, I guess Sammy, you don't want to admit it, but a lot of the bullshit comes from fucking Jews. I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, a lot of the bullshit that people have to deal with in their lives, everyday lives. Pornography and smut and fucking trash and fucking garbage. It's all fucking.
Yeah, don't blame that on the Jews, okay? When people want to partake in pornography, it's of their own free will, and they do it.
But the Jewish
because it's their fucking choice.
The Jewish people,
but the Jewish people won't speak out.
I've spoken out against it as a victim of it. Wait, I'll tell you honestly. Growing up in America made me not want to get married. It destroyed my drive for relationships and for family because the culture is sick and pornographic. And I did not like it, and I always spoke out against it, even though I might have enjoyed like Howard Stern and that crap and Andrew Dice Clay for a while. It's funny for a while, but then when it fucks up your drive for relationships and marriage and children, that's another story altogether, and that's what they've done to you. And it's not the Jews, it's everybody who's partaken in Hollywood and the music industry. And whether the Jews stick out and they stick out like sore thumbs and they're conspicuous, the people that have partaken in it are more Gentiles than they are Jews. We are not your mind. We are not your mouth. We are not the devil tempting you or Satan tempting you. You have partaken in the orgy along with the idiot Jews of America because it's America's popular culture. All right? And
throw me up, John. Throw me up.
You say I suffered from it because I did not want to get involved with anyone, not Jewish, not Gentile, because the culture there is sick.
All right, Sam.
And the culture and the truth that it comes from Jews. I mean, okay. Let's clarify what I'm saying. According to Kabbalah, according to what Judaism says, according to what they teach, a Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew.
A Jew will always defend another Jew, no matter how evil they are.
Disgusting.
Case in point, George Soros.
Child rapist, fucking smut.
No, hell no. Hell no. Hell no.
Show me one Orthodox Jew that speaks out against George Soros. Go. Show it to me.
Please, you want to fight? You want? Well, you know what? Who? Matthew Blazer spoke out against Soros.
You have to. If you're going to teach people that no matter what happens, that a Jew is always going to be Jewish.
I think you're very retarded and biased right now. Sorry.
When the Jews fuck up, you have to eat it. What we should say is what the Talmud says, and that is the Talmud says that a person could lose their Jewishness. When a person is committed evil, they're no longer part of the tribe. They're put in harem. Okay, they're excommunicated.
Yeah, well, so what's
no
your fucking point?
Jewish. That's what we should.
You know, the
teaching.
Orthodox.
Nobody's speaking out. Nobody's
no longer
who's
Jewish.
speaking out against Rothschild? Who's speaking out against George
Why can't I
Soros?
hear
Who's
you?
speaking out against Harvey Weinstein?
The
Who
religion-
spoke
I-
out
I
against
can
Epstein?
imagine one
Who
of the
spoke out
religious
against these
Jews in
Jews
New
that were
York
committing evil? Who
stepping
did?
out against Soros.
Nobody.
They spoke out. They got in Anthony Weiner's face when they found out he was a pedophile, and they in public in a deli, and other Jews in Brooklyn tore his ass up. And who else? And when it was what's his face, Jeffrey Epstein, the Jews of America are ashamed of him. They're ashamed of Weinstein. They speak out against him, even if they crack jokes.
Well, we're not seeing it here in America.
These people are reprehensible to most Jews in America, and they spoke
Well,
out
we're
against
not seeing it here in America, though. See, that's the thing. We're not seeing it.
Because you don't follow the Jewish community, and you don't follow what we say, and you don't follow what average Jews
It should be in the news. It should be in mainstream news.
Are you kidding? Do you follow the Jewish press or the Jewish media? They've all spoken out against Weinstein and Epstein and whatever. Anthony Weiner.
Hold on. I want to say something now. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
All right. The problem, Sammy, is this. And you're gonna go on a rampage when I say this too. But I want you to be cool. And I want you to be collected, Sammy. Can you do it for me?
Say what you want to say. Go ahead.
All right. According to the Zohar, Kabbalah, modern day Judaism, Orthodox Judaism in particular, okay, a Jew is always a Jew no matter what. A Jew is a Jew. A Jew is a Jew. So the truth is, Sammy, you have to eat it. As if a Jew is going to be doing evil things, you have to eat it. There are Jewish people, for the majority of the Jewish people in the world today, are committing aveiros up their wazoo. They're just the average Jew is a piece of shit. The average Jew is unholy. Okay. They're not part of Bnei Yisrael, in my opinion. According to the Talmud, a Jew isn't a Jew is a Jew. Okay, you can lose your Jewishness. You could be put in harem. Okay, so what we need to start doing is we need to start cleaning up the trash and start admitting to ourselves that this is a problem, and that and allow the non-Jew to reset their mind. The non-Jew can't tell the difference.
I'm sorry. Well, you're setting yourself up as the poor Gentile victim. Do you answer for every Irishman that's committing aveiros?
I don't consider myself
Does
Irish.
Vaughn answer for every pagan that's committing aveiros? Do you eat it for every pagan? Do you eat it for every?
Hold on. That's a straw man, Sammy. That's because I don't identify as an Irishman. I don't identify as an Irishman. That's a straw man. That's a fallacious argument. I identify as someone who's Jewish. When I converted to Judaism, I am no longer
not Jewish,
who I am.
John. Get over it. You're not.
No, and if he goes to the Middle East, he's going to get a big awakening.
Stop.
These people,
you need a psychiatrist.
Any American. Let me say this.
Hold on a second. It's against halacha. First of all, it's against halacha to question someone's Jewishness. Okay?
No, it's not.
It's a Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew, Sammy.
No, it's not a Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew. You have the Erev Rav. You have wicked Jews. You have in the Zohar.
Stop, Sammy. It's my turn to talk. I have a star, a gerus, a document, paper that says I have an Orthodox conversion.
Correct.
You have a condition that requires
three rabbis who are Shomer Shabbos witnessed my baptism, my immersion in the mikvah.
Well, you can forget about it. I'm telling you, you speak to Kabbalists today. You talk about the Zohar. You need to talk to your rabbis again. You, as a convert, have given up on being Jewish when you married a Muslim woman, and you went along with Gentile women. You have lost your Jewishness. You've lost your kashrus. You have lost your.
Okay, so this is the problem.
Harvey Weinstein screwed everything up that didn't move.
Didn't I say Sammy was going to lose his mind? No. So Harvey Weinstein lost his Jewishness. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
And all the other Jews that claim to be Jews lost their Jewishness. Okay.
Yeah, that
They run
everybody would
around
have
like
lost their
Goyim.
Jewishness if that
Okay.
was true.
Harvey Weinstein eats
I'm gonna get a
trafe
Mountain
and
Dew.
eats
I'll be
fucking
right back.
Hazer and he rapes women and he's a pedophile.
Yeah,
He lost his Jewishness, not me.
Well, that's fine. I agree with you that by their deeds and by doing what they did, they've excommunicated themselves. But you married a Muslim woman, you have excommunicated yourself. You could
Have to go.
you know
Have to.
you
Let me tell
formally
you something,
you
Sammy.
formally converted
Sammy,
to Islam.
half the Jews at my synagogue married shiksas. Half the
Yeah,
men at
well,
my
they
half
convert
the
them.
men married goyas. Half the
All
men
right,
in the
though.
street.
So there's going to be an answer to that when the Messiah comes, and whether they survive it or not, who knows? If they properly converted their wives, their spouses, they're in the fold. But you formally converted to Islam, you have an issue. You are no longer Jewish. Spiritually, you have forfeited your Jewishness. What's this? The conversion diploma that you got. What is it called again?
It's called the Geras.
A gerus in the Yiddishes. The gerus is now null and void. It's canceled. You have to go through that whole process again.
Oh.
You ask any Kabbalist, including American Kabbalists, if you converted to Islam, you negated your gerus. You're no longer Jewish. Sorry, you need to speak to a therapist about this, and you need to speak to a rabbi. I'm sorry to disappoint you. And all the Averas of Weinstein and Epstein and Wiener and Schmiener and all the other cocksuckers over there means nothing to me. I told you, I am not responsible for them or their misdeeds. Everybody's responsible for themselves right now. I'm not going to eat nothing for nobody. I pay for my sins. Everybody pays for their sins on their own. We're no longer, I told you, everybody's responsible for themselves at this point. To lay the blame on every Jew for other Jews' crimes and misdeeds and evil or their twisted behavior is as stupid as me telling you that you are responsible for every goy, for every Irishman, or Baron Erwin Eugene von Helton is responsible for the satanic pagans because he's a pagan, or for every German, or for every whatever, Apache. What is he? What kind of Indian? What kind of Native American? Cherokee. He's responsible for all the Cherokees' evil, whatever. It's totally retarded. Your mind has been warped by your experience as a Jew. And now you don't know where you stand. You really, I'm sorry. I told you, I'm not a therapist.
My phone is fucking up on me. I apologize. I'm warped in the head. That's all I got from you, Sammy. I'm warped in the head.
No, it's not what you just got from me. I'm telling you, I'm not responsible for Epstein, Weinstein, Wiener, and a Jew is a Jew and a Jew is a shmoo. I'm not responsible for Karl Marx. I'm not responsible for any of these people.
Let me speak.
Or Rothschild or any of it.
Okay, you gotta stop talking. Okay,
I know. We're not saying you're responsible for their actions, but why don't you speak out again?
What have I been doing for the past several years here?
I want to be able to.
Yeah, I know you have.
Holy shit!
But I mean, the average Jew. The average Jew is not
shit!
speaking.
Even Vaughn, shut the fuck up! I want to speak.
Okay.
Oh man, fuck me! Why can't we just have a? I don't know why we gotta fucking yell and scream at each other for.
I don't know.
Listen, you want it both. The truth is, Sammy, you want it both ways. You want to be able to claim this Jewish identity thing, and then at the same time disassociate when they're not doing something right. You can't have it. You can't have it both ways. You either. What I'm saying to you, Sammy, is that when some scumbag, the majority of people in the world who are trash bags are people who have Jewish pedigree and have Jewish last names and have Jewish blood. The overwhelming majority of evil people in the world are Jewish. It's just a fact of reality. The people who are promoting pornography,
really?
people who promoting prostitution and drugs, Who do you think is promoting?
Who do you think is promoting transsexuality and homosexuality and bestiality? Who's doing that here in the United States? Germans? Russians?
Well, the Germans are very heavy into pedophilia and bestiality in Germany.
Yeah, and how did they get that way? Oh, because the Jews in Germany promoted that shit. The Jews in Germany promoted that shit, just like they're promoting it here, just like they're promoting it in Poland, just like they're promoting it in Russia, just like they're promoting it everywhere all over the world. They're promoting that shit all over the world.
Jews are no longer in Europe, and they're still bestial and pedophilic. So they can't
well,
blame the
they've
Jews.
gotten accustomed to it, I reckon.
They have those inclinations because they're sick in the fucking head. Don't blame the Jews for the Germans' devious.
Well, I'm sorry, but the Jews were the ones that brought it to Germany and started it.
That is again a cop out, just like Owen Schroyer, not explaining the fact that America went to war in the Middle East not for the Jews but for themselves. And for the petrodollar, and for the world dominance, and the dollar as the world reserve currency. That was their main agenda. So I'm kind of sick and tired of Owen Schroyer talking about it.
The Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Morgans, Carnegies, they promote war all over the world.
Israel as being. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me one second.
The globalists are one that promote war.
Listen, you're accusing every Jew that supports Israel of being a Mossad Hasbara monkey. All right, so let me just play devil's advocate. All right, let me just play devil's advocate with Owen Schroyer. Listen, Owen, I am your personal Israeli Mossad Hasbara monkey, and I will perform a tap dance on your head, Owen Schroyer, and I will do it unapologetically. America and the Goyim are not innocent, Owen or John or Vaughn. You are not innocent. You are not pure angels, purely from the pure driven snow.
These hands have never shed innocent blood, ever, and they never will.
Really? Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't blame people for being anti-Jew anymore, or anti-Israel, anti-Zion, or whatever the terminology is anymore, because people are sick of it. People are sick that the people who are pushing the drugs and the prostitution and the crime and all the hate that goes on in the world are Jewish, and people are sick with it. People are sick of it, and I don't blame them for being sick of it.
They're mad. They're not just sick. They're
it's
mad.
Like they have black fatigue. People have black fatigue. That people are sick and tired of black people.
I'm not answering for the devious deeds of anyone in America or in Europe, whether they're Jews or Gentiles. I'm not associating, and I'm not seeing myself in league with those people. I actually speak out against those people.
I know you do, but see, the problem is the Orthodox Jews here in the United States do not.
I've always spoken out against them.
I know, but the Orthodox Jews here in the U.S. don't. They're not speaking out.
Tammy, you'd rather have Harvey Weinstein than me. So, hey, if that's
no, I'd rather have someone who is mentally stable. Harvey Weinstein is not stable. Jeffrey Epstein was not stable. These people were demented, and they were demented for many reasons. Okay,
they're God's chosen people. And
no, they're not.
What the Goyim says, and that's what the Goyim thinks.
No, very simple, very shallow. Your lessons and your memories of Chabad have made you kind of twisted and warped. You really need to get yourself together.
But Sammy, you have no idea what you're talking about. I have hundreds, if not thousands, of videos on Odyssey of Torah study. Thousands of videos of Torah study, Sammy. You go watch them.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the Chabad people, I've watched, I listened to your Torah lessons, and they're very remedial and very just like, Chabad-like, American Chabad Judaism. American Chabad Judaism is very kitschy. You have
to speak in a way where everyone can understand you. I can't, you can't speak I speak like Jesus on crack. People won't know what you do. People won't know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, you were reading off of the screen and you meant well, but I think it made you warped. Okay, again. Listen good. I'm not being an apologist for the Jews of America. Even my rabbi said very directly, Rabbi Nir Ben Arzi, who I believe is the Mashiach, the Messiah, he said, the Jews of America, not in these words, but in my words, interpreting what he said in Hebrew, messed up royally. They've done a lot of things that have caused damage to themselves and to society as a whole. He even said it, and this is a rabbi that is I follow and listen to religiously. Okay, so at the same time, so let me just say this: I'm not being an apologist for them, but I am not going to do what the Nazis of Germany did prior to the Holocaust and blame them for all the woes of the world. The Gentiles are not angels, and they're not, innocent, and they're not mindless. You have free will, and we're not your overlords and masters. You have a choice. So the thing is, you have to take responsibility now. The point I'm making about Owen Schroyer is,
did Muammar Gaddafi have a choice?
You can go on and on about the Jews or Israel, but you have a choice to make now. You have the Gentile Messiah in office, President Trump. All right, the golden boy, Gentile Messiah. He's working for your benefit and not for the benefit of the Jews of America. He's actually working against them because. Again, it's generalizing about the whole community of Jews. It's the left-wing progressive atheist types that he's working against. Okay, those are the ones that stick out like sore thumbs. They're the conspicuous ones. The ones that are there just floating like turds in the turd bowl, in the toilet bowl, just living their lives and floating like pieces of shit in America. Their time is up there too. The thing is, in Europe, prior to the Holocaust, the Jews had a split between them, between the religious and between the atheists and the atheist progressive. The same things, same dynamics that occurred, and we talked about it over and over again. I have to remind you, the same kind of thing happened in Europe prior to the Holocaust. Now, the conservative religious Jews have more of a voice now. They do speak out against atheist, communist, atheist progressives in America, leftists, socialists. We do even speak out against the LGBTQ and the homosexuals.
But we never hear it. We never hear it here in America at all.
What the fuck does Ben Shapiro talk about all the time? Ben Shapiro speaks out against the transgenders.
And the mainstream media doesn't get in the voice.
I can find you the footage. You guys are being really annoying. Ben Shapiro was sitting there being interviewed with a transgender, a real butch man that grew out his hair. And Ben Shapiro is being interviewed, and he's calling the man, a he. And then you remember what he did with this man? He had like this.
He grabbed him by the scruff of the neck and told him you better not talk like that. Yeah.
So excuse me, Vaughn. Excuse me, John. Will you please stop being so overly, critical? You have Jews that are brave that do speak out against the perversions and the mad. And guess what? That transgender was a goy. He was not a Jew. All right. So a religious Orthodox Jew put his.
The truth is, he probably went to a Jew doctor, and the Jew doctor filled him up.
No. Hold on. Now you're trying to have your cake. You need it too.
Okay, hold on.
A religious Orthodox Jew put his neck out literally, and was put himself at risk of being beaten up and crippled by a mad, insane, warped Gentile transgender.
All right, hold on a second.
Shut the fuck up. There's a very well-known personality, an Orthodox Jew that speaks for a lot of Orthodox Jews that put himself out there, and so you should just see that as an example.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Stuff it up your ass.
All right, hold on a second, because I'm about to prove you wrong, Sammy, and I'll do it. I'll do it with mainstream news. Jews in New York held a 90,000 Jew flash mob in New York. It made mainstream fucking news. It was all over the media. I saw it myself. And I'm not a Jew. I'm not into Jewish shit, but it was all over the goddamn media about how the Jews had a 90,000 flash mob in New York. 90,000. Now, hold on. I'm not done. Now, that made mainstream news. I couldn't avoid it. There's no way I could go. I couldn't go on my mobile device. I couldn't go on the internet. I couldn't go on TV without seeing that on my screen. Now, having said that, I haven't seen one peep from the Orthodox Jews here in America
What
about
is
Harvey
a
Weinstein.
flash mob? What
I
are
have
they
not
doing?
seen one peep out of the Orthodox Jews here in the United States about Epstein. I have not seen one thing about Soros or Rothschild or any of the other cryptic Jews, atheist Jews, whatever. Not seen anything, man. But I sure as fuck saw a $90,000 flash mob. I saw that shit.
From religious Orthodox rabbis that openly spoke out against Soros.
Where is it? That's what I'm saying to you. Where is it?
We don't follow
Let me
the
see
Jewish
it. Why isn't it all over the damn media?
Will you give me a fucking break? You don't follow that
Why
information.
isn't it all over no, it should be all over the media. That flash mob was all over the mainstream media, dude.
What were they doing? Flash mob. What were they doing?
I guess it was about somebody's daughter died or some shit.
What the fuck are you talking about? Let me tell you
something.
something.
I'm talking about. It was all over the news. You didn't hear about it?
We have the LGBTQ community. Now they've been toned down after October 7th and the war. They're not being as flashy or devious or deviant and degenerate. But when they were, prior to the war, in Tel Aviv, you had average, regular, everyday Israelis that weren't religious that went there and held up signs calling them in Hebrew deviants. You are disgusting deviants. And they weren't Orthodox Jews. They were regular, even Ashkenazic conservative, regular Israelis went there to protest all of that, the parades and the sickness and the lewdness in front of children. There were plenty of Israelis that went there. And they weren't being reported on. The mainstream media didn't report on them. But plenty of Jews, even in Tel Aviv, went there to their, satanic LGBTQ parades. They held up plaques calling them disgusting deviants. You are degenerates. And why are you doing this in front of children? You should go to hell.
Mm-hmm. Well, of course they're going to keep it out of their own country, but they don't have any problem with it being in America.
These weren't religious Jews; these were regular Israelis, secular.
But they don't
Israelis.
have any problem with it being in America or Germany.
Not everybody's on board with the agenda, and these people. And I'm telling you, you can't put everybody generalize about everybody just because they're this or that. I told you there's a thousands of years old a conflict or a struggle or a competition here between Jews that want to be faithful to their religion and want to be spiritual, and those that want to be deviant and want to be anti-religious and think that they are cutting-edge progressives or they're helping the world by being leftists. There is an internal conflict between Jews. So you can't put me in the same category as those people. They don't even put me in that same category. They don't include me in their clan. They don't include me in their group. They look down upon me. They call me a barbarian. They call me by being a religious believer. I'm sort of primitive. I'm barbaric, and I'm not in their clique. I'm not in their clan. You know, they're too good for me. I'm a lower class Israeli in their eyes, lower class Jew. These people are elitists also. They think very highly of themselves. You don't put in the same category as them. And I'm sorry, you were born Irish, and Von here's a pagan. I'm not going to hold you responsible for all the evils of the Irish or the pagans throughout history. And I think that because the Jews stick out like
to be fair, the Irish never really did anything in history that was brutal.
Not that much.
They usually got the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
All right, are you going to attest to every Irishman for their entire lifetimes for not being evil, for being pure as the driven snow, angels, each and one of them? Go do apologetics for the U2 lead frontman. What's his name?
Bono.
Boner. The boner all of a sudden changed his mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. There's one example of a filthy, disgusting, twisted Irishman. All right, a sellout, a satanic sellout, a globalist. Eat that. Why don't you eat that, John? Eat it for him as an Irishman.
He's one guy. He's just one guy that's bad.
He's one guy. Oh yeah. Well, let's go through the
Well,
list.
actually, I have spoke out. Actually,
this is what you don't get, Sammy. The overwhelming majority of Jews in the world are not God. They're not Kiddush Hashem. They're not holy for God.
Fucking cares? You're not a Jew. You're not a Jew any longer. You cannot cast judgment.
Oh, fuck. That's the theology of Judaism. God shows you to be a holy nation, to do God's commandments.
Yeah, well, I'm not answering for every Jew. Do you answer for Bono?
But Hashem answers. Hashem
demands.
Do you answer? You call yourself a Jew. Why should you answer for every Jew? Should you answer for every Bono Irish?
He speaks out against.
God literally said to Moses, "I'm going to exterminate the Jewish people and start over because they're scum." It literally says it in the Torah.
Well, listen, your Chabad experience has turned you into a bit of a schizo psycho. You really need to get you.
It's literally the goal.
But you're a Muslim. You converted to Islam. Did you unconvert from Islam?
It doesn't matter. I could be a black person. I could be a communist. It doesn't matter. According to Judaism, the reason why God chose the Jewish people is because they're going to be His servants to carry out holiness on the planet. That's their job. You're
preoccupied with scrutinizing bad Jews. God is
preoccupied.
You're not God.
God's the one judging it.
For God, but you are not the voice of God, and you're no longer Jewish. You're not.
Forget. Okay, it's all. Never mind. Forget about it. I don't care. You know what? You're right, Sammy. I don't care. I'm a Muslim. Why does it matter to me? You're absolutely right. I don't give a fuck. Let there be another Holocaust. You know what? Who cares? I don't give a fuck anymore.
Well, haven't you tried everything, honestly? You were pagan, you were Catholic, you're a Muslim, you're a Jew.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Actually, he spent most of his life studying Judaism, but
you started out as a Catholic. Wait, you started out as a Catholic, right? You tried.
Not really. I didn't go. Yes, okay. I might have been born a Catholic, but I had nothing to do with the catechism. I never studied anything to do with Catholic theology. Okay, so my entire adult life since I was 16 years old was studying Judaism. That's a fact, and even to this day. So yeah, it's what you're saying. It doesn't even make any sense.
All right, but let's point out facts. You started
even when I became a Muslim, I was still studying Judaism, and that's what made the wife hate me, and that's what caused a rift in the marriage because I wouldn't stop believing in Judaism. So you have no idea what I've been through for God, for Hashem, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So you can shop it.
That's all good, and that's all good and fine. But you really need to understand something as far as
you need to understand something. In order to call yourself a Yahudi means you
can't speak as an authority in Judaism.
In order to call yourself a Yahudi, order to call yourself Bnei Yisrael is that you're a slave to Hashem and you do God's will.
You cannot as an authority anymore.
Be called a Jew.
All right.
Otherwise,
I mean, it's like John. It is like Walter. It's like John Goodman's character, you know.
The truth of the matter is. The truth of the matter is, some fucking goy grabs Harvey Weinstein by the back of his neck and God forbid kills him. Hashem Shalom. It shouldn't matter to a Jew or a Gentile. It shouldn't matter. He's not holy for God.
You've got an obsession and you're scrutinizing and you're looking at people that don't represent the Jews as a whole.
That's what Jews want to. Jews want to both ways. The people.
I'm not a professional psychiatrist. I'm not a professional therapist here.
The people who died on October 7th were atheists and faggots and the most fucking leftist pieces of shit.
You're weird. You're being weird.
Care. No one should care that Hamas killed innocent people.
That's not Jewish. That's being
they were Jews. They were Americans and Germans
saying such
They
things.
were Americans, Germans, and I think some Polish, but they were not Jews.
Actually, it's very anti-Christian. Also,
They were not Jews. The people that died on October 7th were not Jews. They were German, American, Polish, and I think there was another couple countries as well.
And you give
But they weren't Jews. They were foreigners. They were foreigners that came to Gaza to celebrate, but they were not Jews.
Crass, so cruel.
In fact, I think the Jews had gotten a warning that to get the fuck out of there.
Still empathize with those people that died as victims on October 7th.
I will
not speak out against them like that. No, who the fuck are you to say who's a Jew, who's not a Jew? You're not God.
Because we have the obituaries. They were not Jews.
Authority on Judaism.
I mean, they were there to party and have a good time, but they were Jews. We have the obituaries on these people, dude.
Wiener and all these other fucking people. I am not answering for their misdeeds or their actions or Ron Jeremy or any other fucking Jew. You want to go down the list of Irish whores that have participated in porn, and you want to cast aspersions and judge them as Gentile whores? Well, let's go down the list. You're being really, really, when you scrutinize and you want to obsess, it means you have a split personality. You really need to take care of yourself. The Chabad experience and you going off on your own and breaking away from that has left kind of like a shattered person. You really need to collect your mind.
Of Gandhi. Oh, I'm the cult of personality. Anyway.
And speaking out against victims who were raped and calling them pieces of shit and having no empathy for them and calling them non-Jewish because they were, being
well, they were foreigners. They were not Jewish.
They were not being dismissive of their Judaism. It doesn't mean that they deserve pity or empathy as human beings. It's very crass. And even the worst Chabad or the worst Mea Shearim or Neturei Karta or any of these fucking disgusting people that think that they're superior and everybody else, any Jew that doesn't practice Judaism like they do, whether they die or whether they get raped, whether they get burned alive, they deserved it because they were not Jewish. Your elitist attitude, and you're no longer a part of that community, and you still behave and think that way. You're disgusting for saying those things. Disgusting. It's anti-human.
The Talmud says that shit.
It's anti-Christian to even say that.
Sammy, the Talmud says that shit. In fact, the Talmud goes further and says that non-Muslims can be, or non-Jews can be used as a human sacrifice to Hashem. Absolutely. It's in the Talmud. It is in the Talmud.
And you're not a fucking Talmud scholar, and neither is John. I'll tell you.
I know how to read. I know how to fucking read.
You're saying wrong things. You're misleading people.
No, I'm not saying wrong things. That's right out of the Talmud, dude. I tell it to everybody.
Shut the fuck up. I'll tell you personally, from my own Talmudic studies with Talmud scholars and rabbis,
look at this shit.
In the Talmud it says you cannot exploit any Gentile. It's as bad as exploiting a Jew. You cannot abuse any Gentile. Fucking make those stupid faces again. I'll tell you from my personal reading of the Talmud itself, and you are no Talmud scholar, Mr. John or Mr. Vaughn. It says
I may not be a scholar, but I know how to fucking read.
Or exploit or take advantage of a Gentile is as bad as doing it to a Jew. And you two fucks are not Talmud scholars, so shut the fuck up about that bullshit.
My favorite passage in the Bible, it says that the Israelites started intermarrying with the Goyim. And took with them the Midianites, and there was this one. It says that there was this man named Pinchas, and he Gischala. He literally spared.
That's what you remember. Can you talk about that? Yeah.
Okay, let me finish my statement. He literally executed someone committing adultery, and well, not really adultery, but intermingling with the non-Jew. And God rewarded him and said he was a righteous man. I think that's what it stands for. I think people like that is what we're talking about. So I think when people start, when we really think about it, that's the standard that God has.
All right, let me help you out with the Torah shiur about that incident. Okay, when the daughters of Midian went into the camps of the Israelites. They went into the camp of the tribe of Simon, and that was the clan leader of the tribe of Simon. And the woman, the princess that went there to seduce, she went there to trying to seduce Moses. She went looking for Moses. She found the clan leader, the chief of the tribe of Simon. Okay, the tribe of Simon had already taken non-Jewish women from Egypt. Okay, they took Gentile women out of Egypt and they married it with them. So they were more prone to mingling with the Midianite whores that were sent there by who? By Balak and Bilam, in order to create a spiritual impurity. Let me finish. In order to create spiritual impurity in the camp. And once that began, once that
You're roboting, John. You're roboting bad. You're roboting bad. At least on my end, you are.
You know what? Then I'm going to call it a night because my phone keeps fucking up. I can't fix it.
Let me finish my shiur, okay? You don't have